What's going on in the homebuyer market? This is ridiculous. Good afternoon. So I wanted to do something a little differently. I wrote something out and this is my experience as a real estate broker in South County in 2022 in March. Is the market going to change? I don't know. But I did want to get into it with you so that you would see what's going on. Let me get ready, and here we go. So this is what I've seen over the past few years with my own eyes. Is the housing market broken for buyers? So this isn't a high-level academic journal or anything like that. This is my impressions of a real estate market that I believe severely penalizes home buyers, and I'm not sure I even understand what's going on. I was doing well with my brokerage in 2019. I took buyers out to look at houses. I had listings, and things were really on the up and up. Every once in a while, there would be multiple offers on a property, but nothing that would be considered crazy, at least not relative to now. Then the pandemic hit. For 2 weeks, I stayed home like I was told to do. I just figured we were ruined. My business would gradually starve me out of existence, and I'd need to find a job wherever I could find one and not be so picky. That would be if I even lived, because the coronavirus was going to kill millions of Americans. This is what I was told. I did what I suspect many Americans did for those 2 weeks. I spent a ton of time outside in my garden. I built a retaining wall. I really enjoyed spending time with my family. About the third week, I started getting phone calls from buyers and sellers. I hesitated to go out there and start working again, so I called my friend and most trusted advisor in real estate, Robert, and I asked him, what should I do? I've got buyers calling me wanting to buy houses, and I'm a commissioned salesperson. I can't exactly not work, but I'm scared. The government and media were telling me that we would die. He said that he'd been out showing houses and just work with the buyers however they'd like to work. Some people were mask averse. Some people were happy to wear a mask. At that time, we also had the issue of hand sanitizer because we were told that COVID spread through surface contact. When we would schedule appointments for showings, you were no longer allowed to overlap them. So if someone set a time for, say, a half hour, you couldn't set another showing at that time. If you've ever been a buyer's agent showing multiple homes in a day, you know that it's almost impossible to stick to a perfect schedule showing homes. Some showings last 15 minutes, some last 45. It just depends on the house. So what did buyer's agents do? They scheduled showings for as long as possible, mostly hours. So I don't think people realized it at the time, but that caused showings to be completely booked from the time the property went on the market until it ultimately sold. Seller demand seemed to change almost overnight. Gone were the days where you could schedule a showing for the following weekend on a Monday or Tuesday. The house would be gone by then. And I understand this. Given the situation, do you really want random people walking through your house for weeks at a time? Because we were going to take an economic hit, the Fed lowered rates to continue to stimulate the economy, and the government decided to give everyone checks. Given this, we now had low rates, so buyers could afford more house. They had down payments in cash or significantly more cash than they'd previously had. They couldn't go to a showing at a house because the schedule was completely booked and no one was doing open houses. And people who were being paid to work from home for the most part, for the first time, meant their smaller houses that they retired to when they weren't working all of a sudden became too small with kids and Zoom meetings. As a result of these things, we started seeing multiple offers, not the old bidding wars between 2 or 3 people. We're talking 40 or more offers on a house. For some reason, 2021 was my worst year ever. I'd done so well in 2020, and I thought that it would continue. After all, people were buying houses left and right. How can a real estate agent not do even better when the market continues to be so strong for everyone? I'm not exactly sure, but I know that in 1 year alone, Missouri added 23,000 real estate agents. I'm quite sure that a few of them ended up working in St. Louis. Why was everybody getting into real estate sales? The money. Everyone thinks there's all this money in real estate. Every agent just has these bulging pockets of cash. I know that that's what people think, and I know why they think that. When they see a commission on a closing statement, it looks like a lot of money. Fast forward to now. What's going on? I have 10 buyers right now. I have an additional 6 buyers who would sell their house if they could find some sort of home that had better features right now than what they have. And then I have 0 listings. Every week, I set showings with my buyers and we write offers. Our offers are always way above asking. Some are with mortgages, some are all cash. Inspections for buyer knowledge only, no appraisal contingency, and a fast closing. Every week we face long odds in getting a house. The two houses we offered on this past weekend, one had 9 offers on the first house and the other one had 17. Those aren't great chances. While we even had escalation clauses, way past what a house would appraise for. We got beat this past weekend by offers that were higher than our escalation clauses, and we had started way above asking in the first place. So these houses that sold this weekend, the offer price that someone offered was higher than our escalation clause combined. Something is broken in the marketplace. The title company is fine. You can get a mortgage, so the financing portion is fine. There's something else going on. I don't know what it is, and I refuse to think that as realtors, we've all of a sudden got better at selling houses than ever before. Here's what I know. If I have a listing and I work with the seller to set the asking price at a reasonable price according to comparable sales, I'm going to get a stupid amount of offers the first weekend. If I get greedy and price a house too expensive, the house will sit for maybe a week before someone comes to buy it. You used to get punished for that sort of thing. What about wait it out? I'm currently seeing home sellers who bought their homes in 2019 and 2020, moving to new homes and selling those homes for 20% or more above what they paid. There's absolutely no penalty for those who own houses. The buyer who was prudent and waited continually gets priced out of the market. So when my buyers ask if they should wait, I don't know what to tell them. The market seemed crazy 2 years ago, and it's gotten even crazier now. Today, I showed a condo. It was a terrible location, needed a lot of work, and there were 4 families walking through when we did. Clearly, the demand for housing is there. If you look at my buyers, they all need to buy houses for one reason or another. It's legitimate. They aren't out trying to take advantage or anything like that. Most are starting out after college or getting married. I look at the news articles and a few things jump out at me, and I'll put them in the description below. Plus, I've got it on the screen so you can see. So from this Forbes article, it says 63% of homebuyers between the age of 28 and 38 regret purchasing the home that they did. Can you believe that? More than half of the homebuyers are regretting their home purchase. Of those, how many will want to buy a different house sooner than later, which would create even more homebuyer demand? Number two is right here. Number 2, the average mortgage payments are 36% higher than 1 year ago. This is getting ridiculous. Even with historically low borrowing rates, the high cost of housing has taken that gift and basically washed it down the drain. The homes are getting more expensive. Is this showing us the true inflation in our economy, or is it something else? Number 3, major iBuyers are selling 20% of their inventory to institutions and not to the general public. So, as the author notes, taking inventory off the market, turning them into rentals, and reducing home ownership opportunities aren't part of the iBuyer narrative, but that's what's happening. And 2, selling to investors may be a sound business decision, but there are real-world implications that directly affect thousands of American families. So the institutional thing is something to keep an eye on. In my market, and what I am seeing is iBuyers will buy a house for more than what an individual would pay. They make a few repairs and then put the house back on the market for something higher than what the neighborhood comps would normally indicate, which looks like it just takes a bad situation and makes it worse. The 20% they then sell to investors are those houses where they missed. These companies are currently losing millions of dollars per year with their operations, but they don't care because they're being financed by Wall Street. They can stay solvent longer than a family can. So when a family has to sell their house, they're going to need to turn that pretty quick. They don't have the luxury of letting it sit on the market or pricing it much higher after repairs because they have limits. These iBuyers don't. Number 4. Here's an article. It says, real estate tech companies are coming for commissions in a big way. And this is by the same author. In my business, if you set a low commission on the buy side, I can't make a profit. I actually lose money on deals that don't happen. I think I'm pretty reasonable as a real estate agent. In this current environment, I show many houses to buyers, more than 30. And writing up offers and following up takes time, lots of it. Thousands of miles, and gas isn't exactly cheap right now. On a $1,500 commission, how much money out of that is left when I get to closing? Seriously, cutting commissions to buyer agents in this market is lunacy. You can say, hey, get some more rich buyers for a higher commission and refuse to work with the middle-class buyer, but that's just not who I am. I work with whoever refers me. And then you have this final article here. It says, Better.com lays off 3,000 more employees after firing 900 on Zoom. How did many find out this time? Severance payments in their accounts before they were told. Better.com is the poster boy for what Wall Street tells us is working in real estate now. This is a lending company that is supposed to be able to help you refinance, make a new purchase, and even work with great real estate agent in your area. They are financed by the same miserable Wall Street companies that are propping up the likes of Opendoor and OfferPad. If this company is doing such a great job revolutionizing the old real estate industry, why are they so bad at it? Why do they keep having to fire people before the announcement of additional funding? If they can't make it in this market, what's going to happen to our real estate industry when things turn for the worse? Something is fishy with all this. I don't know how to explain it, but there seems like there's this artificial money floating around to everyone. I mean, how can buyers pay almost 40% higher mortgage payments year over year and the market not get crushed? How can these tech innovators in real estate continue to lose money on operations and manipulate the market and no one seems to say anything? How can we have had an amazing year in the slow season this year, December to February, to the point where the total sales went down, but it was because there was literally not enough inventory to cover buying and not because of demand? None of this makes any sense to me. The other day I saw an article that explains we are not in a housing bubble. I'll link to it below and I'll show it to you right now. Okay, it's 4 simple graphs that says we're not in a housing bubble. Two of the 4 graphs are comparing the period of the last housing bubble to now and saying that this is proof of no bubble. But numbers always look the best before things go south. And things happen differently. There's no broad consensus on what the cause of the last bubble even was. So what would be the consensus this time if there was one? You're not going to get that. And so I've got it set up here like this. I don't mean to sound an alarm. I'm just explaining what I see from my perspective as someone who is in the business. Your agent may say that things have never been better. To me, it looks like things are frayed at the edges. Will a rise in interest rates help? I don't know. I'm not even sure that I can accurately state the problem other than things just don't seem right, and they haven't seemed right for quite a while. Is this the new normal? I hope not. There's nothing worse as a buyer's agent than having a couple look for a house, find the one, and make a competitive offer, and then get absolutely crushed by the 20 to 30 offers that others wrote on the same house that was the one for them. This happens to me every weekend. And it's gotten so bad for most agents that they genuinely feel bad when they were listing houses because that we've all been there at this point. It's not gamesmanship anymore. It's not like how miserable can we be as agents. We feel bad for each other. What's going on? Do you know? Put a comment in the comment section below and tell me what you think is going on. I don't understand this market. I mean, my buyers are just beat. I've had some people already this weekend just cancel because they're tired. They're just tired of it all. Now, you say, well, when the market changes, those buyers are going to be beating the hell out of the sellers. Yeah, maybe. But things are just off. Things are just off. I'd love to know if you have an answer. I mean, I'm working in the business and I don't have one. Now, there are agents that are just doing wonderfully. I have no doubt. It's just the way my business is set up and the people that I work with. It's tough right now. So that's what I have for you today. I made an effort to try something new. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments if you hated it, I guess. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.